Billionaire investor Warren Buffett on Saturday signaled he has lost none of his enduring confidence in the US economy and his company Berkshire Hathaway Inc. In his annual letter to Berkshire shareholders, the 92-year-old Buffett urged investors to focus on the big picture over the long term, rather than higher inflation and other factors that in 2022 dampened stock prices, though not Berkshire's. Warren Buffett's annual letter. Key highlights: bet on Coca-Cola in August 1994. Yes, 1994 Berkshire completed its 7-year purchase of the 400 million shares of Coca-Cola we now own. The total cost was $1.3 billion, then a very meaningful sum at Berkshire. The cash dividend we received from Coke in 1994 was $75 million. By 2022, the dividend had increased to $704 million. Growth occurred every year, just as certain as birthdays. All Charlie and I were required to do was cash Coke's quarterly dividend checks. We expect that those checks are highly likely to grow. Dividends from American Express. American Express is much the same story. Berkshire's purchases of Amex were essentially completed in 1995 and, coincidentally, also cost $1.3 billion. Annual dividends received from this investment have grown from $41 million to $302 million. Those checks, too, seem highly likely to increase. These dividend gains, though pleasing, are far from spectacular. But they bring with them important gains in stock prices. At year-end, our Coke investment was valued at $25 billion while Amex was recorded at $22 billion. Each holding now accounts for roughly 5% of Berkshire's net worth, akin to its weighing long ago. Efficient markets exist only in textbooks. Efficient markets exist only in textbooks. In truth, marketable stocks and bonds are baffling, their behavior usually understandable only in retrospect. In his annual letter to Berkshire shareholders, the 92-year-old Buffett urged investors to focus on the big picture over the long term, rather than higher inflation and other factors that in 2022 dampened stock prices, though not Berkshire's. On American economy, Warren Buffett also urged Americans not to be convulsed by self-criticism and self-doubt, saying the country's dynamism has benefited Berkshire in his 58 years running the company from Omaha, Nebraska, and will do so after he passes the reins. We count on the American tailwind and, though it has been becalmed from time to time, its propelling force has always returned, Buffett wrote. I have yet to see a time when it made sense to make a long-term bet against America. And I doubt very much that any reader of this letter will have a different experience in the future. Berkshire also repurchased $7.9 billion of its own stock in 2022, signaling confidence it was undervalued. Buffett defended buybacks, a target of politicians in Washington. Topics: Warren Buffett